Good afternoon, Wellness Wave family. We are here today for another episode of Get Real, New Mom Monday, Mom Panel Monday, any of the things that we want to call it.
Yeah. So many different names.
We had a great weekend. I was gone camping.
I did too.
After our camping show. You were camping.
I was camping.
You were not camping.
I was not camping. I mean, we still have the tent set up in the backyard for the kids. And we did a bonfire, so
that's camping.
Enough.
We're outside.
Just close
I think
to
it was
home.
enough camping.
Mosquito bites.
We can still go in to shower and use the bathroom and make
our
dinner.
camper has a shower. I mean, it's not, you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know what it's like to glamp. That's glamping, right?
Well, apparently.
It's close.
I don't know.
It's not tents
It's just
in the
air
woods.
conditioning and
Yeah. With plumbing and electricity. I want to cross my legs, and all that's in the back of my head is that Dr. Jason's going to yell at me.
So what'd you do this weekend?
I'm sitting here.
You know what? We did a little bit of everything. So we had some family stuff going on. So we kind of stuck around in the area, and then hit a beach one day and drove up to our county, and then did little kid stuff, did yard stuff, replaced my landscaping that keeps dying.
Did you water it?
Yeah, except we're in clay. So our ground is clay, which into pure.
You get hostas
Yes, we get hostas
and pine
that's-
trees.
and
That's it.
I'm
I'm pretty sure that's all that was in our yard in Depew. Everything else died.
So far, the
Blueberries
roses.
are supposed to grow very well in sandy soil. Sandy
Well, how's that
clay.
going to help me in clay?
Are they not
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think
sand?
The sandy soil,
I think
sandy
I
clay.
think clay is a little more moist than sand.
Don't use that word.
But I do think it is. I think clay is probably.
Clay is the opposite of sand. Yeah.
Well, welcome to our show. In fact, today we didn't have a specific theme planned. You know, last week we did camping, and the week before that we did cleaning, and we've done clean skin, and we do different specific shows. So we've also done fire away question and answers. But today, after our long weekend, we kind of said, what are we going to do today? And we said, let's just talk. You know, people enjoy when we just they enjoy when we talk. When we talk about
We enjoy
certain
it.
things. When we talk about certain things and what it means to be in the Wellness Way lifestyle, why we do this, why we do this show. But I wanted to give a shout out, of course, my new phone locked here, to Valerie. She said earlier on her picture, love listening to you ladies. You give awesome suggestions for those of us starting the journey. Thank you. So I forget sometimes that people are just starting their journey. And when we throw out ideas that we would never think of, they grab those snapshots. So if you're watching it live, please let us know where you're watching from. And if you're watching the replay, as we've started a couple weeks ago, which is really fun to watch, we actually in the office go around, you two probably don't see this, but Uriah will come, he's our one of our social media team members, and he'll come in and go, hey, we just got another replay. But it's fun for us to see who is watching after the fact. So if you're watching after the fact, make sure you hit replay. If you're watching live, tell us where you're coming from. If you have any questions, today is the perfect show, whether it be about food. Why do we talk about food so much?
It's always food.
It's super emotional.
I think it's the
delicious.
easiest thing
Food
to
is
start
a big
with
part
too,
of
though.
people's
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah.
It is.
I enjoy cooking.
And
I
eating.
enjoy eating.
And eating.
And drinking. Water.
Right.
Water only.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's a big thing here too, because that's one of the biggest things that you start with. Is your foods.
Because people don't put a big enough emphasis on that food matters.
Yeah, it's super high impact and it gets overlooked.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's a big change for a lot.
And it can make such a big difference. Well, I mean, and when I started here, it was almost 2 years ago, and just eliminating my foods made a big difference.
2
But I mean, even
years?
it'll be 2 years in October, so it's kind
Well,
of almost.
kind of August. Because
It's August now.
Yeah, because you started it at.
I did start at Traverse.
early.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
And then
true.
you kind of, you kept walking in the front, asking
Yeah.
for a job,
Yeah, right.
peeking in
That's
our windows.
not what happened.
She showed up at my house like 6 times.
She
I
said
need
she
a
didn't
job, I
camp,
need a
but she put a
job.
tent outside
Yeah.
and just waited.
I was camping in the parking lot trying to get a job. But yeah, I guess almost 2 years.
Yeah.
But I eliminated my foods, and I look different now than I did 2 years ago.
We should have brought up a
I'm a
before
completely
and
different
after
person,
picture,
but I mean, it was really just foods that I did. I guess that's my point.
I
is
think
that
that's really
foods
cool.
Can do so much.
I'm
sure there's more I should do.
When we talk about foods, yours wasn't a transition of I'm really sick, I need to do all this testing, I can't sleep, I can't poop, I can't eat, different things like this. It was just you kind of came in, and we've got a strict rule: no Skittles,
No Skittles, no Mountain Dew.
no Mountain Dew.
I did hide candy wrappers for a while in Brandon's.
Everybody does.
Garbage.
Trappers,
but
right?
seriously, there's a transition period. You can't just cold
No,
turkey
but
some of this stuff.
We're not
No.
going to come in and tell you this is
Yeah.
what you have to do, but we do. We put it in all the
Except
new
for when we
emails
do.
to all the new employees. We do say you're not allowed to bring it on the premises because we have patients walking
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's
the
not a
last
good
thing you
example.
guys want to do is walk past our office and there is a Mountain Dew sitting
And
there.
we're documenting everything.
Yeah.
So
It
I
can't be
mean,
in the
It can't
background.
be in the background, and so we just
No.
don't have it. It's easier just not to have it here.
Yeah.
But that kind of forced me to follow my food allergies. Plus, everybody here, I mean, what are your food allergies? And then we kind of
It's a
hold
thing.
each
So
other
how long
accountable.
were you
and
here
know
till you
what
got
they
your food allergies tested?
are. 3 months.
Okay.
October to beginning
And
of
most people
January.
do them because they're curious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they say, I just want to know what I'm allergic to. And I always
Yeah.
say, once you know, don't pay the money if you're not going to stick to it.
Right. And that was part of it too, was like I wasn't ready to be that strict. So it wasn't worth doing the test until like, you know how it is. It's Halloween. I don't know. There's always something. It's Halloween, and then it was Thanksgiving.
It was Friday the
It
11th.
was Friday, and then it was the next Monday, and then the next.
There's
I
never
feel
a
Summer
good
was
time
on
to
a
do
Wednesday
it.
this year in Wisconsin.
Summer was last Wednesday.
Yeah.
I
But it
can't
was
say
like
that we've had a
almost
couple of good days.
We have
Yeah,
had
we
a
have.
couple of days, but yeah, I mean it's starting somewhere.
But
Doing
all of our
something.
employees end up getting tested, and we
Mhm.
don't sit them down. We actually do less than we do sometimes we go out into the community
Yeah.
and we call them Wellness Way Outreach, but it's also a lunch and learn. So businesses will call us, contact us. They know that healthy employees equate to better work environment,
Mhm.
less call-ins, happier
Mhm.
families, you know, happy life, happy wife, or vice versa, however that goes.
Lower overhead.
Yeah, lower
Mhm.
overhead.
Less
Get all
stress,
business there.
all that businessy stuff.
One word.
But we do. We go into the community and we train and we talk about stress management and weight loss and eating healthy.
Mhm.
We just live it. We don't do this for all our employees, sit you
Yeah.
down and say, you're going to learn what this is and that is. So eventually they all just get started. So Nance is probably our
Mhm.
newest on this in between
Right.
the four of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're ancient.
At the table. I mean, you guys are old.
You don't have to say it like that.
We've been here for a
To
decade.
the lifestyle, not
Yeah.
to life.
No, I'm not ancient. I'm barely 30.
You're getting there.
Barely.
We just took the decorations down
Did
in
you
my
get 'em
office
down?
this morning.
Good.
Uriah did. Thank you for that, Uriah. My birthday was April 30th, and you surprised
a
me
while
April
ago.
17th.
Mhm.
And they just-
April.
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 Yeah,
And
it's
it's June,
only
right?
July.
It's
Oh,
July.
it's July.
Barely July.
June 1st.
It's only second week
I
of July.
can't
I'm pretty
Thinking
sure
it's the
there's still
beginning
some
of June.
decorations up. She just took the hanging ones down.
Yeah.
Because people kept commenting on the fact that it says
That you could
30
see
all
'em.
over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, I could leave them up every year because my birthday is on the 30th. So I think we should put those up every.
I
I
think
told
that's
Uriah
a
to throw
stretch.
them out. I think we're
I
done.
think that's a stretch.
But anywho, we've been
But
here
getting-
for a
yeah.
long time. You're the newest in regards to
Mhm.
that. So your transition
foods.
happened just you didn't want to bring all your, you know,
I couldn't figure out what to
Garbage
eat.
can.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't eat the stuff that I used to eat all the time. I can't. Well, how do I pack a lunch? I don't even know what to bring anymore. So I was like, I have to start somewhere. And doing my food allergies was the best place to start. And then it was figuring out what I can keep eating. And a lot of it is just real food. I mean, I know that sounds simple, or maybe it doesn't sound simple, but eating real
Well-
food versus the processed, canned, boxed. You know what I mean? And
well, I sat down. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say even the basics that we tell people to do, like the wheat-free, dairy-free,
dairy.
yeah, like corn, cut it back. Just doing those with my daughter ended up in my husband. You know, we pulled the wheat from the house, we pulled the gluten, and they kind of cut back on grains. And all of a sudden, he went from having to take an asthma med twice a day, every
Wow.
day, like since he was 7, to I don't need this anymore. We didn't even test him. It was just changing the food, and he started seeing these results, and it was like,
So I think
huh,
there's
it's super high impact, but people don't
Yeah.
put it all together.
And there's a couple things with that. One thing is that people own their diagnosis. This has been something that we've talked about around here where it's like, oh, I have asthma.
yeah.
Oh, I have asthma. Oh, I have this issue or I have this other issue. And it's like, if you eliminate your foods, you might not have that issue anymore. So it kind of, I mean,
When
in
it
a
becomes your identity.
and
It's
it
an
I was
identity.
going to say
Mhm.
big picture all around is that's not who you are. So then once you start to address that stuff, you have to figure out like, oh, okay, I'm not this person, or I don't just identify with this being the Skittles person. You know what I mean? So things
You'll
like that where you
always
have
be
to.
our Skittles
I mean, I'll
person.
always.
I mean, we found organic Skittles, and Nancy was. I think
Oh,
3
it was.
people were like, Nancy, look what we found.
It was. I don't remember the brand, but we'll find them and take them.
Miranda
but anyway.
said the transition
Progress on.
wasn't too hard.
Mhm.
I figure we are always doing all right as long as we always choose the better option. Doesn't always have to be the best, but better is always my goal, which I thought was neat. So
Mhm.
in the beginning when I started, it was gluten-free because we had to for Bella. She was not pooping. You can look back on our story, but we had major issues. She was 2. Dr. Flynn said, we brought her in for an adjustment, and he said, oh, just go gluten-free. I mean, this is 10 years ago. Like, it's no big deal. And I'm going, what is gluten-free?
And then
I
it
have
wasn't as
no
easy
idea.
as
it
no,
wasn't
there was no
accessible,
gluten-free
right?
menus.
Yeah.
So I came back in the next day and went, I can't do this. It's hard.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, gluten can take 30 days to get out of your system. So minimum of that, depending on what's
Mhm.
going on. So you need to give it some time. And then, but one thing that Jess taught me, I sat down and did a training with her. So Jess used to do our patient education here at the Green Bay office. So when your test results come in, one of our girls, Timberland doesn't now, will sit down with you and go through the results. But Jess took a piece of paper. We were doing a training. I was just training on how to do it. I never did them, but I needed to know how. And she took a column and she said, write down all the vegetables you can have, write down all the fruits you can have, write down all the starches you can have, and then write down all your proteins. And she said, when you go to make a meal, pick one from each category and
Oh,
mix
that's
it up.
easy.
Because
I've never
I-
heard that.
No. We would
So
get so
simple.
overwhelmed,
Mhm.
and then if the processed prepackaged stuff, if it's not horrible for you, which half the time it is,
Yeah.
it's expensive.
Mhm.
And people say to me all the time, I can't afford this. Well, if you stick within what you can, it's doable. So, okay, so tonight is chicken and grapes and carrots.
And
And
like
then
we've talked about, it
tomorrow
doesn't have
is
to be like this big
Grand,
extravagant.
yeah, we
like,
post all these extravagant
Yeah.
recipes on
It
our
might be-
Facebook,
yeah.
and it needs 50
Yeah.
ingredients.
You'll be like,
but-
it could just be a chicken breast and grapes and some broccoli.
But to
Well-
some people, that's even hard, though. You have to remember
That's
if they've been eating processed, boxed,
It's not
canned
convenient.
foods,
Right, the
it's
99
not
cent.
convenient.
yeah.
So when you
prepackaged.
talk about a mom with 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids having to
Mhm.
stop and actually prepare a meal, it
Well,
becomes
Yeah.
the time it takes to
Crock
fight
pot.
with the damn kids to eat it.
Yeah, right.
Do you know how
Or
fast
that.
I can get him to eat
This is
something?
your dinner.
And
You
how
don't eat it.
long it takes me to get him to eat those carrots.
Yeah.
Very
So
true.
with that, what do you do
Who
if he
needs the
doesn't eat
library when you're
it? Do you
Then
give
he's not
him like
hungry.
PB&J if he doesn't want to eat your food?
So
Because that is one of the questions here. How do you meal plan around your allergies and allergies of those in your family?
yeah.
So like all 5 of us have different allergies, and same for you guys.
So sick mommies make sick babies. This is a term we've used a lot here. But mine and Bella's food allergies, I had 36 and she had 27 the first time we ran them. And they were so similar. It was actually really neat to see on the progression of it. That's not always going to be that way. But with her, she was my kid. So when we started to transition healthy, before we did the healthy, what I thought was healthy, right? She was still very sick, and so was I. But it was with her, we left it all on a plate, and if she said she wasn't hungry, she didn't have to finish it. We took the plate, we set it on the counter. And then further into the evening, she'd say, I'm still hungry. She would eat that dinner.
Yeah.
Now, with her, that's fantastic. It caused her to eat it. She will eat pretty much almost anything other than eggplant lasagna. You probably heard. I've made eggplant lasagna once for my family. They will never let it go.
That's funny.
Where were
That's
you?
okay. I made waffles with breast milk, and they will never let it go. So
That's
That's what it is.
fantastic.
It's a little too crunchy for my people, but
Next time, just don't tell them.
I
Every time
know,
you go to
I
make
know.
waffles, just Brian go, what's all in
I
here?
think it was like I think Finn was fighting an ear infection or something.
Something for the
so
eye.
It was like, yeah,
and you
or
grabbed
the
a
eye. Yeah,
bag of breast
anyway.
milk and thawed it. And
So eggplant
Decided
lasagna.
to
she
use
would
it.
eat Yeah.
yeah, so she'll eat pretty much everything. Now, Jace, and I've talked to different moms, especially with like special needs kids, they have to eat and they will just not eat. It's a texture issue or different things. So with Jace, that kid would probably just let his plate sit and get to the point where he starved himself. So we have to figure out.
What?
Now,
he'll
there's
eat.
certain things. I know he'll eat broccoli. Will he choose to pick up broccoli and eat it? No. But if I say, I will give you this after dinner, if you eat your broccoli, he will eat his broccoli.
So a
certain
little bribe
things.
here or there isn't a bad thing.
But we're bribing with,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah, it's
healthier
still good
things.
stuff.
You know,
Yeah.
you can have strawberries if you eat your this. Broccoli, strawberries don't measure up, but certain things, strawberries will do. You know, do things. What do you do? You got two totally different kids.
Yeah, I mean, Sid'll eat anything under the sun. Anything. It doesn't matter what it is. She'll at least try it. You know what I mean? Caden will not put anything in his mouth if it's the wrong color or the wrong
Oh,
shape
really?
or the
Even
wrong.
Jace are a lot alike.
He's
Oh,
very very finicky, but we also weren't as strict in our household when Caden was born. That's just me being honest. When there was two kiddos 2 years apart, it was just like you just kind of went with it. But he's very, you know, he's going through, I feel like he was pickier before. Now I feel like he's just going through phases. Like he used to eat potatoes.
And
Now he won't touch a potato. He used to eat sweet potatoes, and
How
now
old
he's
is he?
like, I'm not eating those orange things. 5.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like he's almost going through just this weird stage. Sid does it too. Like she'll eat certain things for a really long time, and then she'll stop and she doesn't want them anymore. So we just kind of play around with that.
It happens
Hey,
every
we're on
time.
the
I mean,
phone.
if I didn't do it every time.
So we just play around with different things. I try to switch up our meals enough. I'll be honest, I hide vegetables a lot. A lot.
Oh.
I hide things. I'll put
So
sweet
do I.
potatoes in meatloaf. I'll hide
Spinach
things.
and
Don't tell
meatloaf
me.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
tell me that.
looks.
You're
You grind it up and put it in meatloaf. You cannot taste it. I can
No.
probably get 6 cups of spinach into my meatloaf.
Oh, I never even
And
thought of
people
that.
ask,
Oh, yeah.
See?
so
That's
Bella,
crazy.
she's 13. You think we'd be done with this? But
Yeah.
she'll go, "What is that?" And I go, "It's just basil. Just eat it. It's just a spice.
Just eat
it's
it.
just
Basil.
it's just spices. It's, just
6 cups
spices."
of spinach. It's just
That's
something.
what I tell Caden. It's just a spice, but
Yeah.
it's green. It's just a spice.
Spices
There
just
are
spice.
some, because I have found a lot of boxed things just to make it convenient for school
Absolutely.
or different things. The Made Good brand has veggies in a lot of their like Rice Krispie treats and things
Yes.
like that. So if
Yeah.
I do
So-
use those for desserts or whatever, I use the ones that
When we're
have
talking about
veggies in it.
convenience, I want to say something that our family lives by. So after I had the last 2 kids, Wes was working like 70-hour weeks. So I'm trying to cook and trying to do different things. That when you look at expense-wise, going out to eat versus buying some of the prepackaged good stuff, it's still the same price point. So yeah, I might look and go. People will say, "We can't afford that." I'm like, but you ate out 4 times this week.
Mhm.
If you narrowed that back, you could afford the gluten-free organic chicken nuggets. Now, I'm not saying your family should live on chicken nuggets. I'm sure it's still breaded in canola oil or it has spices in it or different things, but middle of the road, I had the baby, we had to eat. It was either we're going to eat out,
Right.
God knows what, at what restaurant. There are some, obviously,
Mhm.
some good restaurant options, but, or we're going to do more chicken nuggets, gluten-free corn dogs, strawberry popsicles that are already made, that kind of stuff.
We did
We're all real
tons
moms.
of meatless dinners. Like when the kids were little, like soups like crazy, sweet potatoes like crazy, quinoa, kind of stir fry, veggie things like tons, because I'm like, man, just getting into this, it is pricey. And I'm like, I could make soup go a long, long way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was
definitely.
super, like, throw it in a crock pot, forget about it, and then like you have food for a couple days. It worked.
Or meal prepping.
Mm-hmm.
Prep it ahead of time to
No,
save
I
yourself
cooked
on
no
time.
meat at dinner. We had a conversation once in your office 2 weeks ago,
did
and I didn't cook meat. And my husband came home and went, "Where's the rest of the dinner?"
Oh, no.
And I said, "But Renee and Jeremy cook like this all the
All the
time." And he
time.
kind of looked at me and he went, "Where's my
I know,
dinner?"
and I've heard your dinners, and I'm like, you just made 3 different dinners because I'm like,
Yeah.
salads at dinner, risotto's at dinner, and meat is at
And you do it all at once, but you enjoy it.
I
And you
enjoy
make
it,
the
and I
time for
cook
it.
massive amounts.
I would
You
love
enjoy
it.
it too? Oh.
I would love it. I'm just like, yeah, no. My attention span isn't that long.
It's just
I
not
love
gonna
it like
happen?
for a little bit.
Or if you had
But
like an entire day.
If you cook all that ahead of time, and you're talking, you have lunches, and it's
That's
already
just
done
it.
and ready to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So you're eating better than what you could have been if you just come to work and you go, I'm starving, and then you call the
Oh, for
closest.
sure.
you
You
go out,
definitely
yeah.
have
You
way
know.
better lunches than I do.
So,
Like big baby
Thank you.
carrots.
What's your lunch today? Some
My
carrots?
lunch sucked.
Rainbow-
it was cut up broccoli and some cucumber that I already had sliced, and I grabbed a thing of Bragg's like
Like
vinaigrette cider.
Yeah.
Awful.
Mine is.
I enjoyed my
Just
risotto,
sliced
my
cucumbers.
avocado
No.
toast. What else did I eat?
Like, you're on a roll
Some
today.
bread? How many slices of bread have you had today?
Only 2 so far, but I'm
Okay.
gonna make a ham sandwich after this.
Okay, so 4.
But
and
I
then
still get
dinner
away with that
or
with the
snack
breastfeeding.
tonight? Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, so
I don't know what I'm
going
gonna do when I'm done breastfeeding because
Yeah, because that's a good
Yeah.
reason to eat a lot.
A lot
But you
of
don't
that.
have to enjoy it.
I
mean, it's more
totally
fun if you
don't.
enjoy My lunch today is spinach with
Skittles.
cucumber slices. I think that's
So
it.
similar to Renee's and others.
Yeah, very
Whatever I
similar.
can
And
grab
you
off and out
had
the door.
rice and chicken
Yeah.
and
So
Yeah.
if you guys want to just
So-
make a little bit of extra
We've
each
done
time
that.
and
We did a
bring it
salad.
in.
That was our leftovers from camping.
that
I
was
just
our
grabbed
leftover.
them.
You
From
should have
camping
seen my
even.
camping
Oh,
plates.
yeah.
Oh, we
Your
should have sent
camping
these to
meals are
Carly.
even
If I
better.
send them to you now, will they pop up on the screen or is that too
It's
late?
just that magic. They
I'm
just
getting the
pop
look
up.
from the video team like, Bree, come on.
Just push
No,
the button.
but-
He's like, no.
They just
no.
pop up. No.
So, what was I going to say in regards to
leftover
that?
from
Camping,
Yeah.
like your
Food.
meals?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
back
you've
to
done
big
that.
amounts.
Yeah.
My mom actually is the one. Now it takes a lot to feed my family because my husband eats a lot, I eat a lot, and then we've got the teenager, and then Jace could take it or leave, depending on what we make.
Yeah.
But I would make like a meatloaf, and my mom would come over for dinner, and she'd go, "I don't understand why you only made one meatloaf. As long as you have all the onions out and the celery salt and the ketchup,
Yeah.
make 2 meatloafs."
Mhm.
So we're in the habit now. I look like I'm cooking for an army. I make soup, and it's this
Really?
big of a pan. I
When
make
do you do
meatloafs.
that?
Oh,
I
yeah.
make because then I freeze it.
When?
When?
Yeah.
Oh,
When
I
it's
thought you said
cold.
why?
No, like when do you do that?
I do
I
Saturdays
go
and
crazy
Sundays on
Sunday
naps.
afternoons,
Oh, nap time?
Nap time.
or at night if I have to
Yep.
cook a dinner.
Yeah.
I just doing 2 of the same things is a lot
makes sense
easier.
to
I
do it.
double everything.
Yeah.
I mean, Sloppy Joe's takes 2 seconds. So does tacos. So I was in the habit. I'd take out a pound of meat, put the stuff in. My mom would go, "Make 2 pounds. Make 4 pounds."
Just
Yes.
make it all.
Taking it from the freezer, but then we always have stuff in the freezer. So in the morning, if I'm going, oh, I don't know who's gonna be home tonight, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull this out of the freezer. It's ready
Mhm.
on the days, or you get sick,
Mhm.
or yeah.
I've done that with
That's a
chicken
lot of
breasts.
it.
Throw a
Convenience.
ton of chicken breasts. Like you go to Costco, you get their big thing of
Mhm.
organic ones, cook them all, shred them, and then separate them all. And then you can pull out bags, turn one bag into tacos, turn another bag into like something
That's
else,
true.
chicken
Mhm.
salad, turn another bag into.
We could do a show
Mhm.
on how many ways to turn chicken into something else.
How many chickens?
And then there's
Good.
days where there's nothing in my freezer other than a bunch of ground beef that is
And then what do you
frozen.
do? What do you do when it's 5:45 when you get home? I don't know.
You
Oh,
make
I
you
like
that.
pick the best
Yeah, what do you
option
do?
you have.
Breakfast for
That's
dinner.
what you do. Breakfast,
Breakfast
for dinner.
Mm-hmm. That's a good
Yep.
option.
Oh, I fed
We
the
do that
neighborhood
a
kids
lot.
so many scrambled eggs at lunch.
Yeah.
Everybody gets scrambled eggs and toast.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever works.
We've done
Oh.
where we'll say, hey, let's go to the. She's got a pool, so I'll say, let's go to your pool or whatever.
Hey, we don't have dinner. Let's go to Kim's.
No, I'll say,
Well,
I'll go
actually,
for
I
dinner.
think she's just coming for the pool, but she'll bring
I'll
the
bring
dinner.
the dinner.
So I'm like,
Oh,
come
got
on
this.
over.
Come and swim.
So
Look at
I'll
the
set
pool.
up a festival and I'll grab guacamole
Mhm.
and I'll grab rotisserie chicken,
Fruit.
a thing of organic strawberries because all of our kids eat strawberries,
Mhm.
and I know she's got. Oh, we'll talk about ketchup and dip, but
Oh, ketchup.
and that'll
Naked
be dinner.
ketchup.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Now I look at it and
Mhm.
I go, man, I just spent $60 on prepackaged foods at festival. I would not recommend it all the time. But wait a second.
What's your
Our
alternative?
family, which is a family of 4, well 5, but Jackson only has milk right now. And your family, which is a family of 4, we spent $60 at festival on healthy organic strawberries, guacamole, a rotisserie chicken, organic chips. What would it have been when we went out to eat?
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
it would have
So
been
it's
that plus
yeah.
more,
Picking
and it would
choosing
be.
your battles.
Yeah, you're talking over
Trick
$60 a
food.
family.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you
Yeah.
never know what's in it, depending on what you're getting.
And it's something quick. It's pre-made.
Yeah.
She shows up, me and her start plating, the kids come in, they eat, they take off and play or whatever,
They
and you're
eat,
done.
They whine, they cry.
They come, they
Well,
eat, they leave.
Threaten with
Is
each
that all
other.
they do? They
look
just
at Caden. He ate his broccoli. If you don't, not broccoli. He ate his
Yeah.
guacamole. If you don't eat your guacamole, you don't get it. It works.
I meant like eventually they eat.
I was like, you make it sound so perfect. We're perfect.
Oh,
we
no.
show up. We eat.
Mine,
It
I
does
mean, we
sound
can
perfect.
mention all the arguing and fighting and the looks and the if you don't eat that, you are not going
Yes.
outside.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
And then
but
following through on that. That's the ticket.
Yes. Follow
We
through.
went to
hard,
Costco the other day, and Zoe was something else in the car on the way there, and it was, if you don't stop behaving like this, you're staying in the car when we go to Costco. Well, then I had to suffer in the car.
I was
with
gonna
Zoe.
say.
Well,
Like, that was
that's the
miserable.
other thing.
I just
Realistic
sat there.
Yeah.
bribery.
Yeah, right, exactly. So
Okay,
it's not something
you
that
don't
you don't
do
want
this,
to
or
do.
you can't come with us to
Yeah.
Florida. Well, your flight's already booked. We're
Right,
not leaving
right.
a 2-year-old at home.
Right.
Use
Yeah.
realistic expectations.
It's hard to
You can't have
remember
the
in the moment,
samples
though.
at Costco.
Well, and you want to
the
use the
samples.
leverage
That
stuff
was-
that's
I
like
know.
gonna high
the thing.
impact.
So you gotta
in
use
the
the-
movie.
Because she was
serious
excited about
stuff.
the samples, because it was after church, and let's just get some samples while
I
we're
get
picking
excited
up a
about
couple
Costco
things.
samples.
I think everybody
Saturday
does.
morning
Who
is the
doesn't?
best. You can go there and just eat lunch.
You can, without even buying anything.
There's your money saving tip of the
There you
week.
go.
Although I haven't
Trucking in the
ever
whole
walked
family.
out of Costco without buying something.
I know.
No.
Well, somebody,
I
did
don't
you
think
see
it's
Emily's
possible.
question? Or wait, it wasn't
I was
Emily's
on
question.
Jessica's. What do you store your stuff in the freezer? That's a really good question. So I have 2 freezers.
You
because
have
we
to
get
have
a half
2
a cow
freezers.
every
Mhm.
year. So we use.
Apparently that was funny to some people behind the camera.
Because
We
she
had
likes
asked
cows
to
as
do a
pets.
show on how to buy a cow.
Oh yeah, that was on the list. And how to.
Carly is back there laughing.
Okay, somebody on here, please tell me that you get a half a cow and you know what I'm talking about when I
That goes
say
in
get
the
a half a
freezer,
cow.
yeah.
Yes.
Drop a cow emoji. I love emojis.
Yeah.
If you're watching the replay, say replay cow.
Yeah, replay cow emoji.
But I use mason jars.
Mhm.
Any of my soups and stuff are stored in mason jars. Just don't put it all the way to the top because as things freeze, they expand. Right?
And they'll explode.
I don't like Pyrex because everything gets freezer burnt, and if I use the ones
I
that
agree.
clip tight all the way,
Yeah.
my tops crack. I will use baggies, but I'll like wrap my stuff in parchment paper because but it again, there's a picking and choosing your battles. So yes, do I love freezing stuff in plastic? No, but do I like having my organic food that's flash frozen and then put in a baggie better than the restaurant burger down the street? Yes.
Yeah, right.
So I do
Yeah.
freezer bags, I do mason jars.
Your dad, no cow, moose and elk.
Hi, Dad. We buy
Moose
beef.
and
Thank you, Emily.
Beef in bulk. Does Costco count? I buy beef in bulk
No.
at Costco.
No.
No.
It's not bulk.
If you don't
No.
have
Wait, I
to
need to
call
find
your
the cow
picture,
emoji. That's bulk to me. It's 3
I buy 3
packages.
pounds of
I have
I
an
bought
entire
bulk, right?
freezer that is just filled with beef.
I think
Yeah.
I need a freezer. I only have
You do need-
I have like the side by side fridge, and that freezer's about this big, and there's no room.
You're
for
not gonna get a
anything.
cow in there.
I know.
Or a half a cow.
Or a half a cow.
Don't
Or
have a
pig.
cow.
Don't have a cow.
Okay, let's move on to this conversation.
Oh, here we go. Here it's coming.
She's gonna get utterly ridiculous.
She's gonna
in a
milk it.
real quick.
I did not do this.
Yeah, you did. You started
yes, you
it.
started it. You did. I want to go to. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Kalina. How perfect are you with your food list? And then there's another question here on how often do you retest. So how
I'm more
perfect
perfect
are
than
you?
Jason.
Let's hear about that, shall we? As I cross my legs.
Okay, so we talked about kids. We talked about meal prepping.
Just saying.
I want to talk about spouses and transitioning because we get asked a lot. So you get a lot of the times the mom
Mhm.
is the health decision maker for the family. It is what it is. The mom starts, the woman starts, the kids start. But a lot of times, well, most of the time too, you're a partnership in your house, especially when dad's the breadwinner and they're going, our grocery bills are going up, or we can't do this, or I don't want to eat this way. I see a lot of people that go through that, or my husband keeps taking my kids to McDonald's and I'm spending all this money on organic food, different things like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yours is a little different
A little bit.
because you've got Dr. Jason.
Mhm.
But
I do.
you're definitely more strict.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to food in the house or following.
I don't think that's because he's a doc. I think it's just because he's the pushover. We love you.
Well, I would say
Or because he's a
pushover
man.
for sure. All of the above. Let's go with that.
Because it's just a guy.
He's definitely not as strict as I am.
Yeah.
No way, no how. The kids go to him for everything, and then they go, Dad, I just got to ask you a question, but I don't want Mom to hear me. And he goes, okay. And it's, can I have X, Y, and Z? And before you know it, my kids are eating 500 snacks after dinner.
So Kim
For
has a
snack
neat
packs.
term.
But they're
It's
still
called-
good snacks.
but
you
still
just don't want them
sugar.
to have
But
sugar.
Kim's
Still
got a
sugar.
term.
Sugar.
Still sugar.
And we're using this with Jace now too. It's called sweet snack. So there's like a cupboard and there's
Oh.
a section and gummies are in there and fruit leathers and sun cups, which are like
Peanut
butter
butter
cups,
cups.
thank you.
With sun butter.
all the different things that are considered a sweet snack. The banana chips, so on and so forth. Because what Jace would do, what I noticed, he would have fruit snacks in the morning and then he'd want a fruit leather and then he'd want a sun
Mhm.
cup and then he would want ice cream and he'd go, but I
All
didn't
the
have
sweets.
But
Yeah.
I didn't have ice cream today. But I don't understand because I didn't have. Whereas Kim uses the term sweet snack. So it's, can I have a sweet snack? Yeah, sure you can. But then you can say an hour later, you already had a sweet snack. If you want a snack, you have to go to the apples or the oranges or the bananas or the broccoli or
I like
whatever.
Or
So
the veggies.
Yeah.
I like
It
that
works.
Too. Mm-hmm.
It
We
works
use
because
it on my
otherwise they
husband.
do that. You know, well, I didn't have that today. Well, yeah, no, but you already had a sweet snack. So
Mine
we're
would be
done.
chip
That's
snack.
Yeah.
My
Oh,
boy
you're
will
salty.
eat through
That's
like
right, you're
chips
salty.
and Carter will eat like a thing of salsa and like the bag of chips from Costco, and that's like his snack. And I'm like, this can't be good. This is like still a
It's
ton of
all
corn.
about
It's a bunch of
moderation.
grain. It's
Organic sugar is
Yeah.
still sugar.
Yeah.
Doc
Mhm.
always used to say organic poop is still organic. It's still
Yeah,
poop.
but I don't think of that
Right.
as sugar until you talk to Kim, and then it's sugar. Oh shoot, those chips are
It
sugar.
is. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
corn
a
for
bummer.
sure.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else
Yeah.
is really high in sugar?
What?
Lettuce. For all you ladies that think eating a salad
So,
every single
Like
day is so good
iceberg
for
lettuce
you.
Mhm.
specifically.
A lot of
a
lettuce.
lot of
is-
lettuce. It's high in
A
Really?
lot of
sugar.
lettuce. Yeah, look it up. It's very high in sugar.
I remember when you first told me that, I was like, what?
My mom ate a she's very, everything is the same every day. She ate a salad every day. Wasn't losing weight, wasn't losing weight, wasn't losing
Yeah.
weight. I said, why don't you try eating something different? And lo and behold, her weight started dropping because it was so high in sugar. So it was sugar all day long.
Wow.
Because you figure if you have bread or cereal for breakfast, any
Yep.
kind of bread or cereal, it still converts into sugar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you're talking carbs. Then she does a salad, which is all lettuce. You should go online. Seriously, you guys, go online and look at your lettuce and see how much sugar. It's ridiculous how much sugar is in lettuce.
Well, plus all the girls that don't realize sugar is in the dressings, like
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
it's so funny. Oh, everybody thinks they're so healthy because they're eating all these salads. I don't, organic or not, it's still filled with sugar.
Okay, and what's
you
wrong
have
with
to
sugar?
switch it up.
Just to, I mean,
It's
playing the,
inflammatory.
I mean, playing the devil's advocate.
Inflammatory
What's wrong with
raises
sugar?
your
Yeah.
sugar levels.
I could have answered that with a little bit more confidence.
But isn't it something with like it turns into fat? Doesn't sugar turn into fat?
Yes.
Don't we go through this whole
Isn't there a doctor
men women thing
somewhere
where
that
like
can answer this?
It's such a
affects-
weird.
it
why
negatively
should
affects
I-
their
It just caught me off
testosterone.
guard. Sugar, everything. It caught me off guard. What's bad with sugar?
Well, but I
Because
mean-
it's just
it's
one of those
bad.
things that's.
I'm just trying to
sugar.
think like clinically, like what they, Doc or Dr. Jason or whatever, what's wrong with having that much sugar in your diet?
I know it's terrible
That
for
it
men's
turns-
hormones,
Yes.
and that's in the book. And then for women, it
For kids, look at what it
I
does
don't
to
know.
the brain
yeah,
and
definitely
Yeah.
fat.
attitudes and different
Energy.
things like that.
Mhm.
Energy.
I'm sure there's a video out there we'll post
Yeah.
about sugar.
We'll get Jason
Question
to
caught
do
me
some
off guard.
sugar talking.
But I mean the glycemic
He would be the
index,
one.
like we've talked about before, somebody on here said high on the glycemic index,
Mhm.
but that's something that you can look at to see how much sugar is in
Yep.
different foods
Yeah.
and then stay away from them, even though those are the ones that taste good.
Thank you, everybody, putting the cow emojis. Love you guys. I do. I remember.
Did
the
anybody
first
put a
time-
half a cow?
Okay,
I don't
so
think there's a
why
half
do I
cow.
buy in bulk? It's the only way I can afford to eat organic. For real.
Yeah.
So we go, plus not only do I want to know my farmer, yeah, it's all the pretty stuff. I want to know my farmer, I want to know what my cow eats, blah, blah, blah. You want me to be real with you? It's
It's
because that's the
cheaper.
only way I can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So every year we order half a cow, and then it gets butchered, but you have to call the butcher. We were having a conversation about
yeah.
this once. You have to call the butcher and order your cow. Now I kind of feel like a pro. I know I want my beef in 1 pound bags. I know I want ribeyes and tenderloins versus this and that. But the first year they're asking me all these questions, and I just kept saying, I don't understand. I don't understand. And I felt okay saying that. Can you explain it to me? And do you want this cubed or do you want it regular? I don't know what you mean. Can you explain it to me? But that is what we do. And it comes out to around 7 something a pound after it's all said and done. Now, beef
just
is
thinking-
what?
I'm
I'm
just thinking of
watching
a
Nancy's
cow
face
coming
like-
out. Well, and just the terminology of
Cubed cows.
buying a cow and then it coming out as beef. I just don't like that.
That's
imagery.
where beef comes from.
What?
Yeah.
Beef comes from a cow.
Yeah.
I thought it came from a package at Costco. I like that a lot better than thinking of it coming from a cow.
Beef
But
seeds?
beef that
I've
you're
seen
getting,
bacon
Sorry
seeds.
to your
Beef.
vegetarians watching.
You should see when she shows up at my house and just opens the back of her truck and it's just
Loaded.
a whole bunch of cut up cow in her trunk.
Yeah.
No, thanks.
Yeah. So not only do I know what my cow is eating and where it's
Oh my
coming
gosh,
from and
yeah.
that it's not having antibiotics and none of the processing, different things.
Thrown in with
It's-
the MSG, yeah.
Yeah. It's around 7 something a pound. That's our tenderloins. That's our steaks. That's our ground beef right now at the store. Non-organic is up to 5 something a pound.
Mm-hmm.
And this is organic and crazy not to. So we just know we save up every month and then we get a cow. Look, honey, I bought a cow.
A half a cow.
I have
Half
a
a
cow.
Which
I
you
don't know with
consider
these two
really creepier.
boys. I'm gonna have to upgrade
You're
to a
gonna-
cow pretty soon.
That's
A whole
the
cow.
thing, though. Like a pound of hamburger used to be enough for tacos for the whole
Mm-mm.
family.
No.
Like, that's not quite enough
No,
anymore.
we dump
No.
black beans in it.
Right,
So
make it
To make
go.
it
I'll
go
I'll
further.
stretch it.
Quinoa works too to add that.
And tomato, like I'll throw it in there because Victoria won't eat
Speaking of
tomato.
tomato, let's talk
Ketchup?
about ketchup and dip. Dip, when we call dip, is veganese.
It's like most people don't call it dip.
No, so we don't call it dip. It's just out of the container. So mayo, very high in rancid oils, and if you've got an egg allergy, and soybean oil, which we all know about soy. It's especially if it's not organic, it's genetically modified. It's gross. It's an endocrine disruptor, estrogen mimicker. See, why didn't I know all this about
See?
sugar?
Yeah.
I was gonna say now she knows what she's talking about.
I was impressed that you went from like gross to
Wow.
all your fancy verbiage.
Anyways, avoid
really
that.
gross.
So we use something called veganese.
Veganese.
Veganese. Vaginese? It's not
that's
vaginese.
Okay, so Danny, our office
Russian?
Russian
Our
calls
Russian.
it vaginese, and we just really all laugh at her. But
It's not.
veganese is by follow your heart, and your kids, my kids, will eat almost anything if you let them put dip on it. So not only
Dip
am I
it,
getting
yeah.
healthy fats into them
Mm-hmm.
by having that, there's some good avocado mayos now that are
yeah.
awesome.
Mhm.
They've got eggs in it, so Bella can't do it. But we let them put that, so not only are they willing to eat other things that they wouldn't normally eat, we're adding the healthy fat.
We just make
So-
all sorts of dips out of veganese.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
cilantro or garlic or hot sauce or whatever. You can make any kind of
Or like-
dip.
yeah.
It's a base for a lot of our
It's a
salad
When they
dressings
dressings that
finally
we make.
upgraded that jar to this
I
size,
know.
I mean, that little thing that they were selling.
That gets me nowhere.
Yeah. Nope.
That's for breakfast. What's for lunch, guys?
And how much is it compared to like mayo? I guess I don't really know because I just buy it. But
You know
compared
what's
to a
funny?
jar of mayo,
I never
is it
ate
a lot?
mayo before.
I
Hated
didn't
it.
either. Yeah.
It
But
is
I
a lot.
bought giant
But
things
there
of
is
ranch.
a Wellness Way ranch.
So now I don't buy that
recipe,
ranch. That's
which
Yeah.
make your veganese, put it or your ranch dip, put it back in the container,
hmm
and it's all ready to go. We put it on stuff all the time. I bought it off of
And
her
then
the
you
other
can
day.
make it any you can make it any consistency too. Like you said, you use dressing,
Yep.
like salad dressings or dip or whatever.
Well,
Yeah,
like
my
the
daughter-
ranch dressing one, so we don't put the milk in when we want to use it for like
Yeah.
dipping veggies in,
Mhm.
and then we put the milk in when we're doing like a ranch dressing, for a
Dressing,
salad or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, my daughter just told me that because she's like, do you have any ranch dressing? And I'm like, no. And she's like, you have dip, mom. And I'm like, okay, well, then what are you asking for?
Turn it
Or
into
really
dressing.
quick ranch is taking the Costco no
21,
salt
yeah.
seasoning, the organic 21 no
Mhm.
salt seasoning that they sell at Costco,
Mm-hmm.
adding that to veganese
Mhm.
or healthy mayo, and then adding salt to it, of course, because
Salt.
Everybody
you know,
needs
You
salt.
need salt.
Yeah.
Salt's good for you. But
The only thing
Yeah.
with that is if you do have your food allergies and you're allergic to some of those spices, then it doesn't work.
then that doesn't work.
But really,
either.
depending on how
Leave 'em
strict
out.
you're going to be, yeah.
Jason has an
But I mean,
onion
with the-
allergy. I leave out the onion powder. I scoop some aside for him, and then
But
I
with
add
the
it in.
Costco one,
Oh
like
yeah,
that has
yeah,
so
that you
many.
can't
It
separate
has
out.
a lot
Yep.
of stuff in it
Mhm.
that you can't have, or a lot of people.
Awesome. So, spouses. Now, we already talked about your spouse is Dr. Jason, whom you guys all know. You said that Jeremy just kind of got on board.
Yeah. Well, and I was texting him. I'm like, how'd you get on board with this? And I'm like, frankly, I had been on that guy about the way he ate, like when we were in college. Because he was like, hot dog, burger. He would do this thing called bean stew where it was like ground beef and dump a can of baked beans in it. And that was like his dumping ketchup and barbecue. So
That sounds
gross. Yeah, that was his like
No, it sounds
fancy.
like the baked bean dishes that everybody makes.
No, you just like it because it has ketchup in it.
It
No, it sounds like the baked bean.
it was an
I don't know.
adventure. Yeah.
How to make those.
Yeah, so no, like I've been kind of like broadening his horizons since he showed up, and then when it turned into our son getting like this ADHD diagnosis, he wasn't totally on board, but he had gone through it himself, so he was kind of like, well, I'll just watch what you do with this. And then as we started making food changes in the house, he noticed his own health improving. So he was kind of like, once he saw that, he never really fought on anything, but once he saw it in himself, he's like, oh,
Well,
okay.
let's face it. Jeremy's pretty fantastic. He does whatever you say.
I have a
He's a
lot of
good
time
husband.
invested in that guy. He did not show up like this, but he is pretty fantastic.
But 20 years later, I mean, that's all I see.
That's awesome.
So I was so far into this before I met my spouse that it was a topic, so this is probably single ladies out there, it was a topic of discussion before we even went
Yeah.
further into it, because this was a serious thing for me, because it's not just about food, it's what we spend our money on. We could literally probably go to Hawaii monthly if we chose not to eat organic or grass-fed beef. That is how much we spend on groceries. It's crazy sometimes. And when the budget gets a little tight, it's easy to say the first thing that should go is this. And now I just can't do it, right? So that was pretty easy. On our third date, I said, just so you know, if this goes any further and we have kids, I'm not vaccinating.
Not vaccinating.
And he's still here, so really I didn't scare him off too much. But I
You have
think he
kids.
knew I was serious. We do.
Yeah.
Oh, there's 3 of them. And at the time, he's like, I don't care, whatever you say. But now he's researched it. He's gotten on board. He knows why I'm throwing snippets at him and tidbits. So I got off easy that way, and that I was already this way, or starting to be this way before
You
I
were
met him.
already corrupt.
Plus, he's
I mean,
yeah,
in
it
the
was already
best way
corrupt.
possible.
Yeah. Plus, he came from a farm family, so fruits, veggies, meat, potatoes, easy for him. So he's
Yeah.
not expecting
Yeah.
pizzas
Just don't
and mac
skip
and
meat
cheeses
when
and
you make
whatever.
dinner.
Just don't make
Don't skip the meat.
eggplant lasagna, because that's all I hear about how disgusting it was.
And don't skip the meat.
And don't skip the meat, because he definitely wants meat.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
we're kind
fine.
Of, yeah, we're kind of to that point where it's easy for me to do it. It's a little bit harder to implement with the kids. Kylie is completely on board. She's 10. She's more on board than Brian, which is fine at this point. And it's not really okay, I can tell, and maybe this is where you and I are different. I can tell Brian what he needs to do or why or whatever, but it doesn't click. It doesn't get through. And so at some point it needs to change from just being told to actually learning it and figuring out how to do it on your own. Because everybody watching on the Wellness Way, they all figure it out. Because my job is to put content out there, right? I mean, part of all of our jobs is to give you the content to be able to do this without somebody
Make the
holding your
lifestyle
hand.
accessible, yeah.
But being resourceful and, being able to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where it's like, I can tell you not to eat that pizza, or you can send me a picture of the ingredients, but at some point, just like Kylie, you can look at the ingredient list on your own and know that you shouldn't have XYZ, and then learn it.
Well, and Jeremy
And
had a
practice it.
situation that he could feel. So when all of a sudden,
true,
like,
yeah.
it was just like gone in the house, he was just kind of eating whatever was in the house, and all of a sudden he could feel the difference. That was a big deal for him.
You have to stick to it long enough to be able to feel that too. And you might not even know you feel crappy.
Yeah.
I didn't think I needed to do anything until all of a sudden I was like not falling asleep at 8 o'clock after my kids were in bed. I'm like, oh, I didn't know I wasn't healthy. I thought I was fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
now
don't
you
know
can look at the
how
picture
good
and know.
you don't
Yeah.
know till you don't know.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for joining us today. If you are watching live, tell us where you're coming from. If you are watching the replay, make sure you say replay. We actually get quite a bit of good interaction in the comments here, but what we forget to tell people is just to go and like and share the post in general. So if you can go ahead and hit that like button, probably the love one, because we know that you love us. And
Don't forget our mixology thing.
yes, that's that.
Yes,
Thank you. I was
I
going to
need
go
that.
with that. So one of the things that we get asked all the time is if we drink. And if we do drink, what do we drink? Because water. But what can we do for clean mixology? Why does it matter? If I have a yeast allergy, if I have a grape allergy, I luckily did not have a grape allergy. That's why I make wine.
Oh, got it. I didn't know that.
Because of all the water you drink?
I just
Because of
buy
all
it
the
from
water
Costco.
with grapes I drink. Do you know that you can freeze leftover wine in
What's
ice cube
leftover
trays?
Oh, was that the punchline? That was the punchline?
You can freeze leftover wine and put it in your wine the next time you want to chill down a wine glass. But as we like to say, we don't understand what's leftover wine.
I'll freeze grapes,
so
though.
I have
I've done
the
it with
opposite
grapes.
problem
Yeah.
because I'm not a wine drinker. I bought 2 bottles of wine when we were down in Nashville, and I can't drink them all in one sitting, right?
No,
Why?
yeah, bad. Bad.
So you still have 2 bottles
So
of
I
wine?
still have 2 bottles of wine. I haven't had any of them yet, so
Bring 'em
I'll
in.
have
Why
to-
is there
Yeah,
water
I'll have
in
to-
here?
I'll have to bring them in because they're the really good, the dessert.
So next
sweet
week
ones.
on the
But
show, we're going to be
anywho-
sampling Nancy's wine.
Sampling my wine.
We get asked all the time. So we are going to do a live recording. We're calling it Moms After Dark. And we are going to talk about different herbs you can take before you drink, after you drink, how you can hydrate before and after coconut water. My husband's obsessed with it. Electrolyte, sea salt, so on and so forth. And then we're gonna mix, and we're gonna taste, and we're gonna create healthy, simple syrups, and we're gonna do a whole bunch of stuff. But if you're local, we're gonna do that live. If there's a few women that want to come in and join us, we'll get that link up here shortly, so that you can join us. It'll be Sunday, July 21st. So
Did we pick a time?
no,
After
what
dark.
time's good? What time does
So,
everybody want
no,
to
it
see?
gets
You're
dark
watching.
pretty late
I was
now.
gonna say, never mind.
I think live is good, 8, 9 o'clock, kids are in bed. However, if we want people to come in, you don't want them coming in at 10 o'clock on a Sunday, so let us know what time is
What
good.
works for you?
What works for you guys. And I did want to, JD was asking a lot about the lettuce, and it could be about how the lettuce converts to sugar, how your body was using it at the time, and why you couldn't have lettuce. But a whole bunch of different things. I was seeing your comments. We're going to go back and look at those. So, hi, Bobby from Waukesha, Omaha, Nebraska, Atlanta. Hi, JD. She's from Atlanta. Kelly has 3 freezers. I'm jealous.
I know, I saw that. I was really jealous
I
of
need
that,
another
too.
freezer.
Is that including the one that's attached to the fridge?
I have 4, because I have 2 attached. I have 2 fridges, 2 freezers, and then a standing freezer and a chest freezer. Does that count?
Yeah, that counts. You're like, I wish I had 3 freezers.
Well, I mean, I need
That
a
counts.
3rd to put next to my stuff. I have these ideas that I would make all this
I
glorious
can.
stuff and put it in the freezer, but really it's just filled with cow. And moose and elk from my dad.
Moose and elk. Wait, you store his moose and elk?
No,
Okay,
sometimes
maybe
he
I
gives it to
can
me
get
when
a
he
half
shares.
a cow and I'll store it at your house.
I might eat it.
Can I get some ground beef today, please? In the form of tacos, already prepared.
Do you want to talk about it? On that note, we are out. We will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you like, comment, share. Join us on YouTube, and we'll talk to you next week.